Oh, look what I just noticed, guys. And this is trippy because, well, this answers my question. Why do I keep seeing rocks just randomly getting chewed up by the Sherman when I don't see a rock, right? I'm riding along and I just see this rock just get turned into dust, basically, and you can hear it just grinding this rock away. But I never ran over a rock. So where did it come from? Looks like they're living in here, guys. Look at that. I was just sitting there, big ass rock just living in my Sherman, just ready to get chewed up. This thing's a powerhouse when it comes to chewing up rocks. But the funny thing is, I got locked up by this freaking mosquito net. Like the other day, I was taking this big mosquito net to the tip. Just a big piece of cloth, basically, and it got... Whoa, that's full of freaking rock. Look at this. See, that should be all gap, right? And look up here, it's like solid rock in there. Just wedged in. What the hell? I don't know how that happened, but... Whoa, there's a lot of shit in there. And that's the other speaker on the other side. My little modification. Makes it a bit more tedious to pull apart, but not really. It's just one more cable on each side and a couple on the top. That's an automatic gate opener modification, so I can open a gate. You know, the ones with the remote. And I just press one of these, that one there. Anyways, we've got a few more things to do. I'm gonna put double-sided tape on all the batteries. There's like 4 packs, 2 on each side, because they always fall out when I work on the Sherman. Huh? ¿Qué hago?
Unicycle
Yeah.
mechanic.
Push.
Push mechanic.
And I got an extra battery in here, as you can see. Another lithium, this is a LiPo, lithium polymer. And the reason is to power the MP3 player in this. So when I turn off my EUC, I can still have music playing. And then whenever it's on, it'll charge this battery as well, just as a backup. And I think even without this battery, it'll still run, but I'll have to have the EUC on to play music. Haven't tested that actually, but it's better with a battery. I'm going to try to show you where a bit of water got into the battery pack. Yeah. No big deal, I just dropped the battery that's powering this camera. So I always drop a battery, don't I? I try to avoid dropping these batteries this time, but I dropped that one. Oh well. Oh, dropping the whole thing now. Bit hard to do this, but let's see. See there? Oh no, it's right there. No, well you can see that, but it's basically a little cutaway that I had to make in the pack to get a bit of water out, and there wasn't much. But what you'll see here is that all the ends of the cells are covered with these plastic caps, which was really good because that means it's going to be a lot harder to short these batteries out. But yeah, right there, plastic caps at the end, very tightly on the end of each cell. So even if water gets in there, it's going to be hard for it to actually create a short, but I still made sure to get all of it out that I could. I'm sure there's none left in there because I like aired it out pretty intensely, and not much water got in to begin with. Most of it got up into the main board. So when I seal that cut that I had to make to get the water out with a bit of hot glue. Don't use too much. Just look at that. And that's the double-sided tape I put on the back, so I'll rip that off so I can stick it on there and it won't fall out while I'm working on it. Yeah, it's nice and stuck in there now. Next step is to take the pedals off. Oh, sorry, the bars off. Well, that came out easy. Sometimes it takes a bit of hammering, so I had to rub a mallet, but mostly to get it back in you'll need that. So yeah. Sometimes you need it to get it out too. There we go. I'll just get rid of that for now. Let's get it out the way. That's a radio module. I mean, it's not part of the original build. It's part of my mods. But anyway, 6 of these on each side, and then you can take the motor out. But you also have to unplug, because these feed up there, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, and the whole sensor is there. Plugs into there, see? And you want to keep note of which one plugs into which, so you want to mark it there. See, I've got markings there already, so I've got 3 marks, 2 marks, and no marks on that one. Made that a bit more clear, so I know which one goes into which when I put it back together. 2, 3, and none. I don't know what happens if you get those wrong, but I wouldn't want to find out. And the whole sensor is this one. And one of the errors I was getting when I flooded this with water was hole error, or it's an E hole. And I believe that happens when you short out one of these wires. When you short out any of these wires, it might give you that error. And what other error was it giving? No controller. So I must have been shorting out like the controller anywhere, making it think it wasn't there. These are the screws we've got so far, see? Got it in the magnetic bowl so I don't lose them. And we got these too, just for the pedals and the screen. The H4. That's what I need. So take out all these. And notice this little crack here, right? Bit hard to see, but this plastic is cracking. There as well, see? Where you tighten these bolts, it's cracking the plastic. and these hold the motor, right? And you'd think, oh, that's dodgy, but it doesn't really matter. All the weight is supported by the axle, which is inside, you know, the center of the wheel. These pedals attach to the axle, and these bolts simply hold the casing on, right? All this plastic stuff. It simply holds the casing onto the pedal assembly. Like this, I don't know what you call this thing, but that's where the pedals attach, and it's like an L-shaped thing like that. So it goes up and they attach in. So it's not supporting the rider's weight. I had to kind of think about that, because when I saw that I was like, damn, I better fix that, you know? If the thing fails while I'm riding, but it's not a structural component like that. So yeah, it's been like that for a while now, and I had no issues. So on the other side, I've got 6 more of those. Oh no, there's glue in this one, what the hell? There you go. So those are all out, and now the motor will come out, but it's a bit tedious, so gotta be careful. First thing you should do is get these wires through there. So like pull them out, see? One by one. There's one. Actually, I'm gonna take a photo of those wires in position just so I remember my marking scheme. Alright, so now pull them out. One. That's the E-hole. That's that one. And that one. So all these wires are out. Pull them through here too. And you want to be a bit careful with this one because it's got kind of, see, you can already see one slipping out, see? See that metal? I'll push it back in. Push it back in, see? You want to make sure that's making a good connection when you put it back together, because that's basically what's holding you up. I mean, that's not what's holding you up, but that's what's telling the EUC the rider's position. So if it doesn't know, there's no way it can keep you balanced. You'll just fall straight off. It'll do any kind of crazy thing if that connection fails. It might just like send you forward, backwards, who knows? Might just give up, might just like cut out or something. But yeah, so that's your motor wiring, see? And it connects to the center of where the axle is. Now the thing should just slide out. I'm gonna lay it down and pull it out. So you want to be real careful here that you don't just pull it out and then strip these wires, see? You got your motor wires and your E-hole sensor, your hole sensor. So you just pull it a bit and feed it through, see? And this is where water can get in by design. And I learned that when I flooded my EUC, because the way I washed it that day when I was camping, I had it laid down like this, and I poured water using bottles just down here on the rim, and it kept like seeping in through this gap, see? So it flooded this area a bit, got into the battery a little bit, but a lot got into the main board, see, look. So it's like water comes through here and it got up there and through these holes. See where the wire's going? There's like gaps there for water to get in. And that's what happened. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut this. Alright. Okay. Good way to do it is to pull up a bit, see it's flexible, and then it will give you more space for the wires to slide through. So you're not going to put stress on them. And now just pull them out one at a time, see? Pull this one out first, and then that one. And that's it, we got it free. Now I can inspect for salt and rust and stuff. Looks alright, doesn't look like any rust at all. There could be salt in there though, like mixed with this dirt, so it'll be a good idea to clean it out. Which is why I did this, why I took it apart. But this is what you'd do for a tire change anyway. If you want to change a tire, you got to basically do what I just did to get this out, and then you can change the tire. It's not that hard. I don't know how long it took, but not that long. So let's clean this up. Just gonna use a tea towel and some water in a bottle, spray bottle, and just get. Actually, I'll get a blower too. Oh, look what I just noticed, guys. And this is trippy because, well, this answers my question. Why do I keep seeing rocks just randomly getting chewed up by the Sherman when I don't see a rock, right? I'm riding along and I just see this rock just get turned into dust, basically, and you can hear it just grinding this rock away. But I never ran over a rock. So where did it come from? Looks like they're living in here, guys. Look at that. I was just sitting there, big ass rock just living in my Sherman. Just ready to get chewed up. This thing's a powerhouse when it comes to chewing up rocks. But the funny thing is, I got locked up by this freaking mosquito net. Like the other day, I was taking this big mosquito net to the tip. Just a big piece of cloth, basically, and it got caught through the wheel and it jammed up the Sherman so hard it couldn't move anymore. It beeped, cut out, and I had to pull it out by force. Like, it took me ages. I thought I'd never get it out. It felt like rock solid. Rock solid. But rocks, funnily enough, it just chews them up like nothing. But mosquito nets, no. Can't handle the mosquito net. But anyway, it's good to get that out as well. But anyway, let's clean up that rim now. Whoa, that's the stuff. Dusty stuff, but at least it's not rusty stuff, which is what I was worried about. Because like I said, I went through the salt plains and this thing got just filled with mud. So I'm surprised, I can't see any bit of rust, and it took me ages to finally clean it. It's been at least a week, I reckon. So a whole week with all that intense salt and no rust, none. I don't know how rust-proof this black oxide stuff is. See the black metal? I think it's pretty rust-proof, to be honest. Like, you'd think so, wouldn't you? If it's already oxide, it's already oxidized. It's already hit rock bottom, hasn't it? This stuff, the silver stuff, is what I would be worried about, and I don't see any rust. Turn it around, dust it out as well. Now I get the tea towel and the spray bottle and just get that fresh water in there to dilute any salt that might be remaining. And these edges, I want to clean out that. See, it looks like there's some stuff stuck there, a bit of gunk. Could have salt in there too. Really getting rid of it now. A little scrubbing. Make this thing pristine, you know. So I'll probably sell it soon. I want to get a Lynx, to be honest, the veteran Lynx. And I've ridden the Master before, suspension wheel, so I know what it feels like, and it's definitely an advantage to have suspension on bumps, off-road, and I'm mostly an off-road. I mean, it's half-half for me, but off-road is important for me. Especially now that I'm gonna go camping and stuff. That's good. Air it out a bit. Now this side. And this is distilled water, but you could just use tap water. I just had this in a bottle, so. And now I'm hoping, and I'm sure it is, the E-hole error that I got when it got flooded is not due to a short circuit inside here, because that's where the e-hole sensor is, but it feeds the information through this wire up to the main board, and I believe that's where it got shorted. I believe that's where the short circuit occurred, because it's very hard to get water in here, I believe, from what I've read. And I've seen a post where a guy had his water submerged fully in a river. I don't know how deep, but you know, fully submerged. Imagine that. And it was probably like, I think it was a meter deep at least, for 60 minutes. So an hour fully submerged, and he opened up his motor. I don't think it was a Sherman, but they're all fairly similar in terms of waterproofing. And there was only a bit of water in there, and funnily enough, he was like disappointed. He was like, oh, I can't believe there's water in here. This is crazy. And I'm thinking, wait, you had your wheel inside a river for an hour, and you're complaining that water got in. And it was only a little bit. It was like barely any. So, you know, if that only got a bit of water in it, I doubt I got any, and just by pouring some bottles, you know, around the rim. Got a bit of rust in here, but I don't know, it's not that much. Pretty dirty. Whoa, that's full of freaking rock. Look at this. See, that should be all gap, right? And look up here, it's like solid rock in there, just wedged in. What the hell? I don't know how that happened, but I reckon it's just that stuff from the salt plains and it just hardened. It's like rock hard now. I'll get a screwdriver and try and dig it out a bit. It's adding weight to my wheel, guys. Unnecessary weight. There we go. Yeah, it's not rock. It's just, yeah, it is that stuff. It's that mud from the salt plains. See? Look at that. It's like a rock. See that? Almost rock hard. And my wheel has been making a strange sound. Nothing too worrying. Well, actually, it might kind of worries me. It's just like a whooshing sound when I'm rolling along, but I only hear it when I'm going slow, because, you know, otherwise the wind takes over. But it's like, and I think it might just be scraping, I'm hoping. But part of me thinks there might be water inside the motor, and it's like swooshing around as I roll, but I doubt it. Like, if that was the case, it would have failed by now. So hopefully when I put this back together, that noise goes away. It's not very loud either. Like I said, I only hear it when I'm going like really slow. Anything above like 15 k's an hour, and I can't hear it anymore, basically. Or 20, let's say 20. There we go, it's all nice and loose now. Get a vacuum cleaner or something, I guess. Better cover this up, shouldn't I? Whoa, there's a lot of shit in there. Rock hard.